right, welcome back to another episode of Light Skin, number 44. Today, we got two guests for you from the same pod, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Y'all want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Alex Kozitza. I'm one of the owners of Building the Dream Duluth.
And I'm Matt Lambert. I'm the other one.
Thanks for being on with us. First time we had two guests at the same time, so
We're testing you out.
Yeah,
see how wide your space can actually
be. Am I who I think I am? You're about to find out. But we'll start with you, Matt. Where are you from? Tell us about baby Matthew.
Yeah. So I am actually a Duluth transplant. I grew up in Emily, Minnesota. I went to school. I went to high school in Crosby, and then I went up here for college. I actually have a degree in chemistry. Go figure out, in a marketing agency. But I moved up here for college. I fell in love with the area, with the scenery, the things to do. The fact that things are open past 10 o'clock was my big thing. Yeah. And I just couldn't leave. I put roots down, bought a few rental properties in the area, and I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. I love Duluth.
Yeah. Where is Emily at?
So Emily is 20 minutes from Crosby, between around like Outing and Reamer and that area.
Okay.
So yeah, is that north or south?
East, west,
it's north,
central,
north of the Mississippi. Everyone in the town's like, "Oh, you must be north of the line," saying that you're backwoods, whatever, like really rural.
Yeah. I still don't know where's that.
Yeah, Mississippi.
Well,
okay, all right.
So
where are you from?
So think about
close to Brainerd.
Brainerd.
You see that?
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta talk to them, though. Sometimes you gotta talk. Chemistry guys ain't all the way. They ain't there. So, not a big town.
No, not a big town. My graduating class was 91, I think, and
I was born in 91.
And the population of Emily was like 400 people, but I think half those are people who have summer homes there.
Got it. Okay.
So real small.
Lake town or
kind of, yeah. There's lakes around, and some of them are kind of dirty where I wouldn't swim in them myself, but other people come to the area and like it.
Definitely. Now, do you have a big family?
I do have a big family. Yep. I have three full siblings, 3 half siblings, and then step siblings on either side.
Oh, dang. All right. Oh, yeah. So you're busy then.
Yeah, my youngest sibling is, I think he just turned 12.
Oh, that.
So big age difference. I'm 30.
All right. And where are you in the mix?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go to you, Alex.
Yeah.
Baby Alex.
Yeah. So I was born in St. Peter, which is right by Mankato. Is that we good?
I'm glad that he can learn something. But I'm thank you for the landmark. Yeah.
But we ended up moving when I was 4. My parents picked up and moved to Ashland, Wisconsin, which is about 65 miles east of here, probably. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I grew up. That's where I went to high school. Ashland was, it was a great town. It was a good town to grow up in. It was right on the lake. It's about 9,000 people. But then it was a town that I didn't want to stay in for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I love to go back and visit, but it definitely wasn't. There wasn't enough opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I came up to the Twin Ports. I went to school at UWS, and I've been in the Twin Ports for the last 12 years.
Okay.
And I moved away a couple times. I lived in Grand Forks, North Dakota for about a year, and I lived in southern Minnesota, Wilmer, which is kind of by St. Cloud. I lived there for just under a year, but same thing. I like the area. It's gorgeous here. I like the people. I like how the Twin Ports is like a big small town, right? You know, you can get to everything in 15 minutes, but you have enough. There's enough to do and enough opportunity, I think, in the area.
Yeah. Now, what did you study at UWS?
So I started out as business management, and then I studied exercise science.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Family size.
Yeah. So let's see. Not quite as big. I've got a brother and a sister that are twins that are 2 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. My brother lives out in Indianapolis and does video game graphic design.
Oh, cool.
And my sister lives in Ashland as well, and then my parents both still live in Ashland.
Yeah, see, after twins, their parents like,
yeah,
no more.
And I was the oldest, so they were like, okay, no more.
Yeah.
I got a wild story. So I got some friends that live in upstate New York, and they got married. Their first set of kids was triplets. First set.
Yikes.
It's like,
And
Put through the ringer.
then, and then,
so they got older. I think when they got 5, it's like, oh, let's have one more. Triplets again.
Fool me once, fool me twice.
I said, what? 6 kids and 2? Like, you have to be done. Because I'm not
You
taking that
finish
chance.
vehicles.
I'm not taking that chance on this
you
36.
don't, roll the dice one more time.
Yeah, how did they
Yahtzee.
get around?
Yeah, I don't know.
Two
Like,
cars, yeah.
Yeah.
Short bus.
My friend Casey, Gerald, and Kayla. Yeah.
Wow.
I'll never forget getting both of those phone calls. Like, dude, we had triplets, and then, dude, she's pregnant with triplets again. I was like, what the
Wow.
hell?
My so funny story. My brother and sister are twins.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's best friend that we spent a lot of time with also had twins within like 2 months of Katie and Joey.
Oh, cool.
And so then they had that family had another baby maybe a year or so later,
Mm-hmm.
and me as a 3-year-old, I was always used to twins,
Mm-hmm.
and so when we went over and we visited that that family again, and they were like, "Hey, here's the newborn baby," and I looked around and I said, "Where's the other one?" I just was used to them coming out in twos.
Being an older sibling to twins, was that tough? Because a lot of twins really only depend on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, divide and conquer. When we were little, apparently I used to pick on my brother a little bit. I mean, as like a 3-year-old. And my sister and I got along really well. But not really. I mean, as we grew older, we all got along really well.
That's good.
We did.
Yeah. So I'll go back to you. So you went to school for chemistry.
Yep.
What type specifically?
I was really into organic chemistry,
Okay.
and then oddly enough, I actually worked as an inorganic chemist. But it was about the opportunities. As much as I love the Duluth area, for a lab chemist, there's almost zero opportunity unless you have a PhD or you work for the university.
Okay.
So when I graduated college, I actually had a really sweet internship that turned into a full-time job for a startup company into Harbors that was researching medicinal compounds in birch bark.
Okay.
I was the only chemist on staff. I started all their SOPs, all their processes, really helped them formulate a minimal viable product. And then there was a lapse in funding from the government. They were relying on NSF grants, and they're like, we're kind of paying you out of our own pocket right now. Can you find other opportunities? I'm like, yeah, guys, don't worry about it.
Yep.
And then I spent probably 2 months playing video games and being mopey about myself. Like, man, why can't I find a job? And it really sucked. And my wife was in grad school, and we were really just trying to make it in Duluth. And then I ended up widening my focus, and I got involved in regulatory product compliance, so chemistry adjacent. And then I was able to find a job again while I was starting businesses on the side.
Got it. Now, what you said medicinal properties in birch bark.
Yeah.
All right, I caught that. See how I caught it? Boom. Now I'm about to ask some crazy questions because we do this.
Yeah.
What type of medicinal properties does birch bark have?
So the main idea that we were looking for is, have you ever heard of the chaga mushroom? It's a big, it's a very
here
large
we
Native
go.
American.
I've heard it's wrong.
This is over now.
I mean,
This
that's
is
one
how
of my
this
favorite
podcast
subjects.
is going to be about.
But tell me about the chaga.
So chaga extracts these compounds out of birch bark that Native American cultures have been using for thousands of years. There's an Iceman, Ozzy the Iceman in Iceland, that was like found with this in his satchel.
Yes.
That it's like medicinal compounds. It's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and
That's why I use it. That's why I do with them. Yeah.
But anyway, the chaga mushroom pulls these compounds out of the birch bark naturally, and then people harvest them and use them. Whereas in the laboratory, I was developing processes to extract those compounds chemically and refine them. So the big things we're looking for are betulin, betulinic acid, and lupiol. And then there's also suberinic acids and other tannins and stuff that you can extract from the bark. But we were focused on making an all-encompassing extract and then using that in dietary supplements.
Did it work? Did you complete it?
Funny enough, one of the uses is a hangover cure. And anytime we went to we had an annual snowboarding event, me and my buddies from high school, and we'd pass around the birch bark pills before we start drinking it. Next day, it worked, whether
That's
it's placebo or not. But yeah, that company's actually still moving. They're pivoting in some directions here and they're trying to find a better product market fit, but they're holding on, and they're the ones who really taught me about entrepreneurship. Following that He's been a mentor. The owner of that company's been a mentor from the beginning, taking a chance on me, showing me the ropes of entrepreneurship. And to now, I still work with him. We're building a website for him right now, trying to get them to their next level of business.
That's cool. I'm saying there is a lot of medicinal properties for, especially mushrooms themselves. My pop has Alzheimer's, and so every once in a while I'll send him some lion's mane mushroom, and it's real good for just cognitive function and stuff. So there are so many like cool things that they can do, amongst other things. But yeah. So how about you? What was your first job out of college?
When I was in college, I worked at a shoe store, a retail shoe store. So selling shoes. I
can see you, doing
Bro,
Yeah,
I swear to God, I was about to say
I'm gonna tell you right now, if there was a poster child for somebody that say size 11, I got the perfect girl.
I tell you, you know what's crazy? It's like how good you get at guessing. I mean, when you're dealing with it like all day long, you get really good. Like
there
I
was
used
a guy at JCPenney's, I swear, looked just like you.
Really? That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
He's a trade home guy.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's his twin.
But yeah, you really could. I mean, somebody would walk in and I'd be like, "Yep, well, 9.5." You know, it's just. I mean, you
Why?
put it in this range.
Gotcha.
Yep. So I did that, and I actually really enjoyed it, and that was like kind of my introduction to sales. And the guy that I was working for at the time was also he's a good salesman himself, and he was like, "Hey, you're pretty good at this. You know, we have a program where you can, train to run your own store, and then it's not necessarily your own business, but you kind of run everything. You do the inventory, the purchasing, the scheduling, the employee." Hiring or firing. So you kind of run it, and then you have obviously upper management above you. And I thought, hey, this is something cool. It's something that I like to do. It's fun. I mean, I get to talk to people all day long, which is really all I want to do. So I stepped into that manager and training program, and it was about 9 months, and that's when after that, they promoted me to my own store, and that was when I moved down to Wilmer, and I was there for, 7 months or something like that, and I decided, I really don't even like shoes that much. Like, I don't, this isn't, it's fun and I enjoy it, and it's, I learned a lot. I would say it was definitely like a really good education, but it wasn't something that I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing, and part of that program was, moving around a lot, and so ultimately I decided that, I wanted to pursue something else. So I learned about a management position back in Duluth for a nutrition company, and so I took that and I moved back to Duluth, and it was just a retail nutrition store, and so that was kind of aligned with my love and passion for exercise and health and fitness and stuff like that. So I was there for about a year, and then they called me and said, "Hey, we've got an opportunity for you to take over the Grand Forks location." And I said, "Hey, that sounds great. It's bigger volume, more responsibility." And so I moved out there, and I moved out in January of 2017. Okay. I moved out to the plains of North Dakota. So it was and so it was like January 3rd, and I remember I was driving on the stretch. There's like a 20-mile stretch between Crookston and Grand Forks, and I was in my U-Haul, and I had my Jeep on the back, and I was getting blown all over the road, and there was like drifts of snow all over the highway, and I looked down at the thermostat on the U-Haul, and it said 35 degrees below zero. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what the hell was I thinking here?" Like, and
this wasn't in the welcome back.
Yeah, exactly. And so Grand Forks was a cool town. I mean, it's not that much different, but it's a little different than I was used to. So it was a good time. But they had called and asked if I would be interested in purchasing the Duluth location, and which to me that seemed really cool. I mean, then it's really running your own business, and I did like the store and the industry and everything. So I said yes, I would be interested in it, but I don't know enough. I mean, I was 24, 25 at the time. I don't know how to run a business. I know how to do like a lot of the managerial stuff, but like if I'm really going to invest my own money into it, like I need more education on it. And so I made a deal that, hey, I'll work with you guys for a year and decide if this is this really something that I want to pursue, and I'll learn from you, and I'll work side by side. But obviously everything that I do to help grow the store for the time being, you guys will benefit from. I just need the education on the marketing and on the the inventory and actually doing the business owning side of things, not just managerial. And so I started that, and we hit the ground running, and I started doing all kinds of like local networking and events and things like that. And that was originally where Matt and I had met. And I ultimately decided against it. Online competition in 2017, 2018 was picking up, and it was super competitive. I mean, health, nutrition, sports nutrition products are hyper competitive, right? I mean, it's basically a race to the bottom these days. Whoever's the cheapest is making the most money. And you can't run a brick and mortar store that way. So I decided against it. We had, in the meantime, started working on this program, this business, I guess. It was just an idea at the time.
Passion project.
Yeah.
Started.
But then I went to work for Spectrum Reach, which is the advertising arm of Spectrum, the telecom company. So they had digital marketing products, TV marketing. So I was there for 3 years, and I learned a lot about marketing from them. I was able to work with a bunch of different businesses on coming up with marketing plans and ideas. And after 3 years, we decided, hey, this thing is making some money. Let's see, I could stay here forever and be comfortable. But we decided, hey, we've been building this thing for, at the time it was, we started in 2018. This was 2020, so it had been about 4.5 years. And so I decided to take this on full time. And it's been great since then. I mean, the best decision we've ever made.
7 months later, after he left, I was able to leave, and haven't looked back.
So, how was marketing for business for y'all during the COVID time?
Well, before we get to that, why don't we just explain what it is?
Oh,
you do?
Yeah. Cool. You want to start?
I can do it. So we are Building the Dream Duluth. Our main focus is getting businesses found on Google and getting them more leads. And we really like to focus in on the home services, so your plumbers, your HVAC, your roofers, all those types of people that have in-demand services that those leads are worth a lot to them. We use our expertise in our business to bring those leads into them. We do web design, or search engine optimization, which is our biggest thing, and then we also do email marketing and a lot of those other services. In addition to, we just like talking to cool people that have stories to share in businesses that deserve recognition.
Yep. And so maybe to back up just a little bit on how we got started and so our business is Building the Dream Duluth, and where it got started was we met essentially at an informal networking group, right? So we would get together on, was it Thursday? I think it's Thursday nights. Yeah, essentially. So we had,
I got those.
we had I don't know, probably 12 to 15 like rotating people in all kinds of different industries. We had a financial advisor, a residential realtor, a commercial realtor, a couple people in insurance, a guy who owned his own painting business, a chiropractor.
I had a phone repair business at the time.
Yeah. And I was working on getting this nutrition business going. And so the group was, it was a good group of people.
Still friends to this day. With all that.
Absolutely. And it really was, we weren't getting maybe as much as we wanted out of it. It did become like a Thursday night drinking club, and we knew everybody and we liked everybody. But Matt and I decided that we wanted to get more out of it.
And we were the only ones with 9 to 5 jobs. We didn't have time to go to the B&Is, to do all that stuff in the mornings. Yeah. And we wanted to get more structure and learn more about business from these peers that are successful around us.
So we brought it up, we came up with this idea of, interviewing each of these different people in different sectors, right? Like, I know what a chiropractor does on the surface, but there's a lot more than just the 5 minutes that you go in there and they adjust you and then they walk out. I mean, there's a lot of different things. And, a lot of these people were, early to mid-20s who they weren't, successful yet. But they were working on it, and they were growing their business,
building their dream.
Yeah,
it's the you get it.
Good way to slip that in. And so we actually brought it up to these group of our close friends and said, hey, we think it would be really cool to like hear your guys' story and tell us about, the struggles of your business, the successes, like day-to-day operations. What are you doing when nobody's there? What are some of the things that you have to focus on, and what do you have to learn from? And we brought it up to everybody, and we sat down at like a really formal meeting, and
we put a lot of work into this.
They said, "Yeah, that seems kind of cool, but we're too busy. We don't have time for it."
But
and we were like, "Yeah, exactly." And they were, So it was like a little bit disheartening, but we were like, "All right, well, F you guys. We're gonna do it."
Just telling y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna do it anyway. And so we just started talking. We started calling and reaching out to business owners and entrepreneurs and people in the Twin Ports to hear their story, right? And that's originally the whole idea was going to be just that, right? We thought that, hey, we could build this platform up so it'd be so valuable that people would want to pay us to be on the podcast.
Yeah, we took their idea.
Well, and
who would have knew?
No. We didn't start the idea of a podcast, man. We're
Then here comes Light Skin.
Right. But so I think that was another piece that was really educational for both of us, because we got to sit down with these business owners, and they would, essentially get to tell us all their problems and their solutions to those problems and what they had learned over the years. And that's, to a couple of, 26-year-old kids, that was pretty inspiring.
Especially after only being able to learn in your personal sphere from people on YouTube that are flexing on Lambos with their Mai Tais and Tai Lopez, look at my library sort of thing. And we were just sick of that. Those people were just gurus, and we want to learn from actual people in the trenches doing it day after day.
And like the authentic story of like, what are you really doing, and like what things have you, had to overcome. One of my favorite stories to tell is the chiropractor that we interviewed. He for the last year of chiropractic school, he moved out of his apartment, built a van, and just built it out to be his home so that he could save money to open his own practice. It's like, that's the cool stuff that, that people want to hear. And the other thing that we learned is how we got to the business that we did is people were really looking for, when you ask people what their problems are, it really boils down to like a couple things, right? It's, we need more money, right? Or we need more customers, or we need our customers to shop more often, or it could be we need staff, things like that. But essentially, at the end of the day, most businesses can solve their issues by making more money, right? And then to do that, you need effective and efficient marketing that pays returns. So we just kind of started. We built a couple websites for friends and families that were pretty awful in the beginning, to be honest. Right? You learn as you go, and that was really our practice, and we've gotten a lot better at it. And Matt is the scientist between the two of us, the SEO scientist. The search engine scientist he goes by, and so he taught himself all about the Google algorithm and what it takes to rank effectively on Google. And so we started running search engine campaigns, building websites, and that has taken us up to this point, and we've been able to expand our offerings, and I think we do a pretpretty darn good job at helping businesses grow.
Yeah, and I think anybody can create a website.
Yeah,
it's that SEO.
Yeah,
and because I've made some websites before, and then you sort of get behind the scenes of it.
Yeah,
and then you got to build out your SEO, and that's where most people are like, nah. Whatever.
Right. Well, and that's, you can have the most, and I'm not a graphic designer. Neither of us are like artists necessarily, but we can put together a good looking website. And we do have people that we can hire to bring on for, some of the more artistic side of things. But yeah, at the end of the day, you can have the most beautiful website in the world, but if you don't have people going to it, it doesn't matter. Like it's hidden, it's hidden behind the monster that is every other,
the internet.
The internet, yeah. So if people aren't able to find it, it's not really doing you any good. And if they are, it can be a 24/7 salesperson for your business, because if you're, whatever business you're in, you're not going to answer the phone at 10 o'clock at night, but that might be when somebody's looking for something. So if they can find you and they can, at least get in contact with you, send an email or something to, reach out, that's obviously a really valuable place to be.
And are you doing a lot of that marketing and stuff on social media and stuff, things like that as well?
Yep. So we do, we do social media management, where we'll create organic posts for clients, or we'll run like paid ad campaigns as well. Both are valuable. The thing that we really try to do is and most people are going to say this, but you want to find a solution that's tailored to your customer, right? The nice thing about us being, I mean, essentially, we are the business, right? And so one of my examples is like, at another company that I worked for, there's only a set number of products that you can offer, right? And if it didn't have to do with those set number of products, it didn't make sense because essentially it didn't make, it wasn't valuable for me to, help those people out because it didn't, I didn't get paid anything from it. And so that was really limiting. But like now, I mean, we can learn to do just about anything. I mean, if somebody has a question, they can, we might not have ever done it before, but we can figure it out.
We're dang sure going to try. And I mean, that's the mantra of being a professional researcher. If I took anything away from my classically trained chemistry background, it's that if you don't know how to do something, figure it out.
Yep. And so we try to provide as much value as we can up front. That's the reason that we do, like, so if you look at Building the Dream, I mean, we have tons of just like business spotlights and highlights on local businesses in the community. We do the interviews. We do, we'll hold events to bring people together, and we don't charge anything for any of those. And so like, especially for like businesses that are, starting out or need some extra exposure, I mean, that can be really valuable. We're not huge, but I think between Facebook and Instagram, we've got 3,000 followers that tune in that are interested in, local business and local entrepreneurs and things like that we can help, get people's names out there a little bit more to those people. And then, when they get to the point or when they realize that, hey, I need some additional help that, I can afford to pay for, then we can come in and we can help out with the additional marketing services that we offer.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. What just made me think about, just randomly, is like, when you search something on Google and the first thing is like always kind of highlighted in blue. We never click on that.
The sponsored results.
It's exactly what you're searching for.
Yeah, but is it? Because I think that's sponsored. Like for us, it's like the website we have for Denfeld Junior Football League. If people are looking for junior football in Duluth, that's really that's the only thing that Google's going to pop up. But if like you're selling burgers,
right,
and you search burgers Duluth, then you're going to get...
Think about the list of people that you have out there. Yeah. And so, so there's two different, essentially, results on a search page. So sponsored, like you're talking about, it's that top result where, it'll say sponsored in the top corner. That's a paid Google ad. So somebody pays money to target that keyword. So essentially, they pay Google to be, in that position right there at the top. But one of the reasons that we focus, and we do run pay-per-click campaigns.
They do work, especially for industries like emergency plumbing. Somebody wants an immediate result. They click right there and they call. Somebody answers the phone. Their answer is solved.
That's good to know. Because I was going to ask, what type of ads do that even work for? Because many, I never look at that thing.
What's funny, though, that you say that? Because now that I think of it, like, let's say I search out Spectrum. The top one is the sponsored. The one below it is Spectrum. I always click the one below it.
Oh, every time. Yep. Every time.
And people are aware now. I mean, the trust in sponsored ads is much lower than it was even 5 years ago, right? Because people are aware now. When it says sponsored, like, hey, it's an ad, right? So it's a business trying to sell something, and that's why organic. So search engine optimization focuses on getting the organic results higher on your search engine results page. The reason that's so valuable is people trust more in like the top organic option. You can't just pay money to be there, right? I mean,
Google does a due diligence on the content that you produce to make sure that you have authoritativeness, you're an expert on your subject, and that you're a real business, that you have something real to offer these people and solves their issues. And that's why, when Alex was saying, when you see a search result that's a paid, they didn't have to demonstrate that to Google, run through the ringer and say, this is why you should contact us. They just paid money, said, here you go, contact us. And a lot of people have come to realize, whether it's, hey, I don't like being sold to, or B, this didn't serve my search intent in the past, I'm going to move down and just focus on the organic.
So on Facebook, I think a lot of businesses struggle to get organic growth going. And you always...
Facebook's a pay-to-play game.
Unfortunately. So that's really the only way, because I feel like you can't just post anything and have it go organic.
You can't even reach your own followers.
Okay. We've realized, like, how we run our stuff, and sometimes it's interesting to see just the traffic that comes in, or lack thereof, and then sometimes it's just this crazy ass boom of traffic, where it's like, where the hell do all these people come from?
And that's the job of these big tech companies like Facebook and like Instagram, is they track, they want people to stay on their platform. So what they need to do is promote more of the engaging and educational and entertaining content, right?
People that keep their eyeballs on the platform longer to see the other ads.
And so, if you throw a post out there and nobody pays any attention to it, Instagram or Facebook will ding that as, okay, this didn't, this one was, not as valuable as another type of post that, did all of a sudden more people are commenting on it, more people are sharing it. Like those platforms will analyze each and every post and decide. So all of a sudden, if you start getting a bunch of comments and a bunch of likes and a bunch of shares on your content, then those platforms see, okay, this is a valuable piece of content. We'll show it to more people. Because what's the statistic on a business page? Isn't it like, was it 30%?
Yeah, it was something like that. It's very poor reach if it's not like a viral post of yours, or you're not putting dollars behind it.
If you have if you have 1,000 followers, and you just put out an average everyday post, even if it does okay, it might reach 30% of your following, right? So obviously not all those 1,000 people are even going to see that unless it starts to gain some traction with with the users on the platform.
And that's why things like Facebook groups are so beneficial, or taking off platform and developing your own community, whether that's through school or your own branded thing, to where you have control over what people are seeing in that news feed and a different set of notifications.
Yeah. It's interesting, but it's also scary, because you hear people talk about all the time is, I was talking about this with my friends, and then all of a sudden this popped up, or I was thinking about this, and it's I don't know, just the data that can be tracked for marketing purposes or whatever.
Yep.
It's
and the inferences you can make based on other data points.
It's ridiculous. Like, I don't.
All Pez ever sees on his feed is mushrooms.
Nootropics are a hot topic.
We had that talk earlier. It's popping up now.
I'm telling you right now, the moment I open his phone,
you'll see a Mudwater ad.
It's going to be insane. It's just going to be insane.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, essentially, when you're, you had a famous line that always sticks with me. If you don't, or if you're not paying for something, then or some platform, then you are the product. I mean, right? They're analyzing all of your data and all of your behavior patterns and everything to try and make money from people who are buying advertising. And if you're putting it out there publicly, they're going to use it.
Yeah. How is business in Duluth for you guys?
Yeah,
it's been very fruitful so far. I mean, we're really community oriented, and like Alex said, we're value first, and that really helps us because it breaks down people's guard. And we're not coming in just to sell you something. We're coming in to offer you a solution, and whether or not you pay us to implement it or you implement it to yourself, we still feel good at the end of the day.
For sure.
Yeah, and we really focus on having relationships with our customers, right, and our clients.
We're partners in growth. We're not just a commodity.
Yep. And so we, there's a lot of big agencies out there that, if you're not spending $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month on marketing, you're just a drop in the bucket, and they don't really get the attention that some of these small businesses deserve, right? And so our focus is really, big marketing agencies, they want to work with like the car dealerships and the hospitals and the casinos because they have massive marketing budgets. We've really found our niche in like the small to medium sized business, where they might have a couple $100 a month to spend up to a couple $1,000 a month to spend, and we can really give them that tailored white glove service that other big marketing companies won't give them because they're not spending enough money, right? And so we've really been able to grow in that sector. And I mean, if you at the end of the day, it comes down to two things. I mean, doing good work and taking good care of people is really like, those are my two mantras essentially. Is if you do that, I mean, people are going to stick with you. You treat them well and you do good work for them. That's all that they really need. And I mean, we are essentially the team, right? We have a couple contractors that we use. But if somebody has a question, they're not getting shuttled into some support queue with,
number 3754.
Exactly.
If you want to call back, leave your number.
Right, exactly.
Schedule time next week.
If somebody has a question on something, I mean, they're calling one of us, or they're texting one of us. Like, we really want to be there to be able to help, and we think that there's so many small businesses out there that deserve that. That just because they don't have massive marketing budget doesn't mean they're not a good person or a good have a good business. So we really thrive in helping those people be able to have a better online presence, right? If you can take that smaller company and give them just a little bit of the market share that the big companies have right now, that's so incredibly valuable for them.
Yeah, and that has to be rewarding too, to probably see some of these small businesses come in that need some help and then watch their growth.
Absolutely.
Over time, and I bet they just love that. It's probably really
it's
cool.
so cool to see what they're doing and like how they're changing things. Like, oh yeah, that's my client on that billboard. That's so awesome that they've got to that level.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because small businesses, they don't have, like you say, 30 grand
right
to drop a month. I mean, most small businesses, people get into it because they're passionate about antiques or painting. To have all this extra money laying around, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And, they're so focused on their business, it's nice to be able to find someone like you that can run with the SEOs and all of those marketing.
And that's, you go on.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, absolutely. And when people start a business, they start it, like you said, because they're passionate about it. They're good at this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hats to wear when you're an entrepreneur, right? There's a lot of stuff that you're doing on your own. You're essentially you might be the accountant and the marketing person and HR and all of these people.
Maintenance man.
All of it, yeah, absolutely.
Cleaning toilets.
And so
we gotta do it.
if we can help with our expertise, take away some of that extra responsibility and allow them to focus on their business, that's valuable as well, right? One of my famous lines is, I'm not an accountant, right? The reason that we have an accountant and we pay an accountant to figure everything out for our books and our taxes and everything like that is because it's worth us, paying someone else to do that while we run our business and focus on the things that we're good at. And that's what we feel we bring to the table with other businesses is, okay, maybe you are an accountant, right? Focus on your accounting. We'll do the marketing for you, right? And so, we can provide a lot of value and give people some of their time back because otherwise, like you said, you're trying to figure it out on your own and you're in the back end and, if it takes a lot of time and effort to do some of these things and if you don't take all the time to learn it, then it's going to fall flat when in reality you can just bring someone on that does know how to do it.
Yeah. No, that's cool, and I think especially with Duluth being a city that's still finding its new identity in certain things, I think what y'all do is good. I think it'd be good anywhere, but especially here, because there are a lot of businesses that's looking to come up and looking to break into this market, and you see a lot of them fail. But then you also see some that just become wildly successful.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just how you get yourself out there and how do you set yourself apart from, everything else and everybody else. That's an art in itself. Making sure y'all keep everybody's fresh and looking different than the last business you helped. And, so that alone is a challenge.
And at the small business level, every dollar counts. And that's why the stuff that we recommend to our clients are focused on returns in mind. If you can pay $1 and get $3 back, you'd make that trade every day. And that's the core of what we offer is we're not going to suggest something if we're not going to hopefully see a return on the back end.
So let's say you were a small business. Let's say, we open up a burger shop. Light Skin Burgers.
Yeah.
And
There we go. That's coming soon.
That's coming soon.
Yeah. And
right
so we came to you and said, hey, what can you offer us? Or what do you do? Just in general, what are all the areas that you could help a small business in?
Yeah. There's a lot of things. So as a brand new business, you have to work on your recognition, right? You need brand awareness. You need people to know you exist. Obviously we would analyze, hey, what's your valuable difference? Like what makes you different than another burger shop? What are some of your strengths and some of your, things that we can really focus on highlighting? You have the the light skin burger is the best,
Best.
whatever. It's the best spicy burger, or whatever it might be, right?
Ever.
It's the best ever. It doesn't matter.
Well, it'll just
I'll
be
cook them.
cooked.
I'm known for cooking juicy burgers. Pez, he burns them.
No, let me tell you,
It's
let me
fine.
tell you why he's
Let's
smiling
keep
right
going.
now.
So what else can you
No,
do?
because we're not going to run past this. Let me tell you why he's smiling. Okay, last time I came over here, Joel gets excited, got a little Blackstone up on the top.
Oh,
So I come over
Called
here. Number one, I'm famished. Okay. Oh yeah, my boy gonna cook dinner tonight. I'm excited. We get over here, and big juicy burgers. We get them on the thing. We take the lid off. They're hockey pucks. The burger is drier than the bun. I said, you're never again.
One time I overcooked it. Okay.
And one time is the only time I ever had it. And that's all you need.
You know what? When we started building websites, we didn't do so good either. So light skin burger still has a chance.
Thank you.
you learn from
Yeah,
mistakes.
exactly.
So-
Continue.
when we think about the strategy, so there's tiers of people in your purchase cycle, right? So there's brand awareness, which is trying to reach everybody. Not everybody's going to be your customer, right? There's people that don't like burgers. There's people that just don't like going out to eat.
Or don't like things that aren't chain restaurants.
Yeah. But you still want to try to reach people to get your name out there, and then you filter down as you define your audience. So you can run some Facebook ads. And that you can reach a bunch of people starting there. Going down is where you get into your people who are interested and viable purchasers of your product. So that can be where search engine optimization comes into play, right? So when people are searching for best burger in town, or any variation of that you are going to be a viable purchase for that person, right? So then there's things like your Google Business profile that you can optimize on the map pack. That when people search for things, that little map pops up, and then you got like the three
results.
restaurants,
Sure.
where it says call, directions, visit website. Optimizing that is a really cost-effective way to start to grow some market share. Because especially you think about people who maybe they want to try something new, or maybe they're from out of town, or maybe they're just looking for, hey, what's the best burger in town? Mm-hmm. So there's that. There's obviously also your website that can so when people are looking for that, you pop up, and they hey, I haven't heard of this, or I haven't tried this yet, or this is a place that we want to go. Or if they have, like, just a reminder, like, oh yeah, we should go to Light Skin Burgers, like we haven't been there for a while, reminding them of that. And then like your purchasers, so people, once they find you, they visit you. One of the other things that we do, like Matt talked about, is email marketing. So re-engaging those customers, providing them with offers, incentives, coupons, just information, education, like, hey, we came out with the McCore burger, or whatever it might be, right?
Or we sponsored this new event we want to share about and show you guys what we do for the community.
Yep.
Yes.
So you.
Let's get to the pest burger. McCormick was okay, but
And then so that helps you to just re-engage those people that have already purchased from you, because one of the famous old marketing adages is it's much more cost effective to keep a customer than it is to try to gain a new one. So once they do shop with you,
cheaper to keep her.
absolutely, yeah.
You guys can use that.
That's free. That's free.
Yeah.
Yeah. We give everybody
That's your new
something.
tagline.
Yeah. We give everybody something before they leave. So.
Oh, come on.
A little goodie bag.
Write that down. So it's you want to be marketing at all those different stages for that type of person. And you can do that in sections, right? So you can start out with your awareness, right? We got to get the name out there first, and that's where we would come in and we would do a business highlight. We would do an interview and we would talk about your business first, and that's before you even have any money to spend, right? Like we can do those services for no charge just to get you help get you on the map. Mm-hmm. And then grow some awareness, and then start to bake in some SEO, so you're getting some search results that when somebody does a search for best burgers in Duluth, or burger shop near me, things like that, those are
It's my favorite thing to type in. Whatever near me. Like, that's my favorite.
Well, exactly, right? And think about how valuable that is, because for your guys' burger shop, those people have money in hand and they're hungry, right? They're ready to buy. You know, one thing marketing agencies will often ask people, you know, who's your ideal customer, right? And then people think, oh, you know, it's men, you know, 40 to 55 that make $70,000 a year. No, it's somebody who wants your product right now
Sell me this pen.
and has, you know, and has intent to buy your product, right? It doesn't matter if that's a 20-year-old, you know, fresh out, or, you know, whatever, college student, or if it's a 70-year-old person just looking for a place to have lunch, right? If somebody's searching for your product or your service, you know, that's a qualified customer. What better place to be found? And it used to be the phone book 20, 30 years ago, right? If you didn't exist in the phone book, or you weren't in the yellow pages for businesses, then how are people that, you know, were looking for your services and didn't have somebody, so they do a brand agnostic search like burgers near me, right? Which doesn't, I mean, if you look for Big Daddy's Burgers, right? You're going to Big Daddy's Burgers typically, right? But if you're looking for, you know, best burger shop in town or things like that, I mean, that's a really, really valuable potential. You know, this person knows they want a burger, but they don't know where they want to go yet. And their wallet's in their pocket, and again, they're famished, right? They're hungry. So that's and then again, just once you get in contact with that person, continuing to re-engage them with text or email offers, or just information about the business.
Especially with how commoditized a burger restaurant is. You have opportunities to sell them again and again and again and turn them into a lifelong customer.
Yeah. And I know Pez is going to ask a wrap-up question, but before he does, Building the Dream Duluth.
Yep.
What's your hopes for this company, and what do you see the future for it?
Oh yeah, we want to take over the world. We want. Well, I mean,
That's my answer for anything.
I mean, we've been growing, you know,
Aggressive.
at an aggressive rate for the past, I mean, really 4 years, but the 2 years that we've been full-time entrepreneurs. But I mean, for the foreseeable future, is we just want to keep helping more people. You know, I'd love to see our forward-facing stuff like the podcast and the business highlights and spotlights. You know, be continue to grow. Right, we want to be like really a hub for you know, businesses and people who are looking for business education on like a local level. Right, you can always find like the again, like the marketing gurus and these people that are, you know, on YouTube driving a Lambo, but like, I think it's a lot more valuable to hear from somebody who's authentic and local. And I guess one other thing that we're looking at launching is what we're calling business in a box, right? So we're helping provide people with all the tools that they would need to start their own business. You know, there's a lot of objections and a lot of concerns with people who want to start a business. How do I file my LLC? What do I need to do? You know, I don't know how to build a website. I don't know how to, you know, I don't know where to get invoicing or estimate software, things like that. So we want to be able to, you know, provide as much of that as we can to someone to help get them off the ground.
To remove any objections they would have had to keep in their back pocket. Oh yeah, I'll do that next week or whatever. We're just like, nope, you're doing it now.
Yep. So that, I mean, we really want to be a hub for business and entrepreneurship in the Twin Ports, whether that's an entertainment or education resource for people. I don't know. Do you want to talk a little bit about Duluth Direct too?
Yeah. So one of the other side projects we've had, shiny object syndrome, is rampant with entrepreneurs. As I'm sure everybody else who is an entrepreneur realizes that there's always another thing that can take your attention away. But one thing that we've kind of always kept gravitating back to is a platform we call Duluth Direct. And what it is, it started out as a business directory where we can also highlight some of our clients as well as provide a valuable resource for the local community for searching for best coffee shop or best place to stay at Bentleyville or things like that. And it's kind of been a testing ground for us to try out new SEO tactics to see what we can get as information on it. But eventually we want to grow it into a hyper-local news network where we can get independent people who want to report on news to share their stuff on there so that people not only can find information about businesses, they can find information about hyper-local things that are going on in the area from people in the area. And there's a couple other things around it that we're also looking at kicking off, but we'll hold that close to our chest.
You know what I see in the future? You know how they have the Chamber of Commerce dinner? I see Building the Dream dinner.
Oh, that would be dope.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that would be dope.
And it's all
get
your
there.
companies.
We'll get there.
Yes.
And we're doing a live podcast from stage.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just throwing
absolutely.
out
Yeah.
ideas, you know.
And we have done that before, and we've held events where we bring in, a lot of the people that we've interviewed, our clients and customers, and just associates that we've gotten to know from our network over the years. Where we'll hold events and we'll just bring everybody in and they get their own chance to maybe ask somebody that they've seen on an interview questions or
cool.
things about themselves. Yeah. So we want to do that. We're not quite to that level yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Oh no, honestly, y'all got some good stuff going on. Honestly,
I appreciate that.
And y'all being good guys is that helps a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
Take good care of people and do good work.
That's
like I
it.
said, that's it.
And that can be said for any line of business.
Yep.
People are it. It's all about how you treat people. You have the best thing in the world, but if you're an asshole, I'm gonna talk about your product like it's fucking terrible.
You do business with people you know, like, and trust.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And imagine if if you have a customer or even a business that you've hired, and their name comes up on your phone, and you go, "Oh man, I gotta talk to this asshole."
Yeah.
Like people aren't gonna want to work with you. They don't want somebody that they're not looking forward to. So yeah, I mean, be a good person.
That's it. Yeah. And then I'll ask both of y'all a question I ask everybody. I'll start with you. You can say something to your younger self. What would it be?
Man, I don't know. I like to think that I have no regrets and that I take every opportunity as a new opportunity. My biggest guiding principle is, I think you pronounce it Soshin, where always keep a beginner's mindset. Never get too situated in what you're doing and always look at it with fresh eyes and think of how you can optimize, how you can change, what you're not currently seeing, the forest for the trees. I think if I were to go back to my younger self, I still would go to college. I still would pursue chemistry because the things that I learned there that were adjacent to my school was probably the most valuable thing I've ever got. So I spent my $30,000 on life experiences and figuring out how to navigate as an entrepreneur, even though that's not what I actually paid for.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's right. What's you?
I think I'll go to probably my favorite quote of all time is "Fortune."
He got so many favorite quotes.
This one is
You
like
consume a lot of business content, as you can see.
it's the background on my phone, but fortune favors the bold, right? I mean, try it, right? Go for it no matter what. I mean, if you have something that you want to pursue, if it's something that you're really really passionate about, you'll figure it out. Right. I mean, try it out, and there's no way to know for sure. But if you don't try, you're gonna regret it. So.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, that's good. And one more time, if people are looking to find y'all, where can they find you?
Yeah, so our business website is buildingthedreamduluth.com, and then we're on all major social platforms. Reach out to us on there. You can reach out to Alex directly. His phone's always ringing. He's
We'll put his number on the screen.
Great. Or obviously anybody that is, we just like you, we like talking to cool people, right? So if anybody wants some free exposure on our platform, we're always looking for new and interesting and exciting people to talk to. And that's the thing I think that we learned through this is everybody has a cool story, right? Everybody's got an interesting story. They just don't always get to tell it, right? People don't know maybe where you came from and how you got to where you are. But it's if you're an entrepreneur, you've had to overcome some things and you've had to work through some stuff. So we love telling those stories. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for being on with us, and thanks again for listening in. And like always, like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next time.